Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got another drive time show here for you. This time it's WWE Elimination Chamber press event reaction show. Had a look at it there this morning. Interesting somewhat. I still have some reservations over the format. I have some suggestions, some ideas. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. How do you feel about these pre and post press conferences now, after and before these premium live events? This is going to be a massive event. And it kicked off awesomely. Like, you have Michael Cole, Corey Graves coming out, kicking it off and all that. You've Cole talking about the logistics of pulling an event like this together, which must be absolutely huge. He spoke about how they couldn't transport the chamber, of course, through the Suez Canal with the threat of piracy, all that kind of stuff. So they had to bring it from Miami to LA, and from LA on a boat all the way to Sydney, and then train from Sydney all the way up to Perth. So this is a huge logistics undertaking to put on an event like this, a specialist event like the Chamber, which carries that amount of equipment and stuff like that. So it was interesting to get an insight into that. All right, then of course we have Grayson Waller comes out and kicks things off. Of course, we were expecting a lot of Grayson Waller and a lot of Rhea Ripley. It is their home country and stuff like that, and also not unexpected at all. I do like Grayson Waller. I like there's an edge to him and all, and his timing and his delivery is really, really good. So I do like it, you know. But then out comes the Game, Triple H. Of course, we did get a little sort of backstage segment with Byron Saxton talking about Rhea Ripley and how she's really up for this and all, and how it's going to be amazing and all this kind of thing, which we would expect and all. I just find sometimes with these shows, it's kind of like watching a Raw or a SmackDown just without the ring. And I have some suggestions that I'll let you know later, but let me know in the comments what you think of these events and how they sit with you, stuff like that. Of course, Triple H came out looking great. Of course, comes out, love the music. Of course, the entrance never gets old. Absolutely awesome. Really miss him wrestling, to be honest. I was a huge fan of Triple H and stuff like that, especially back then and all. So do miss him performing and stuff like that. Do miss the entrance, but we get these little ones, so they kind of somewhat satisfy us, if you like, you know. And he says it's all well and good, you guys are great fans, all this kind of thing, bigging up Australia and Perth and all that type of thing, talking about the WWE superstars going out and enjoying themselves and experiencing the Australia and the Perth culture and all that kind of stuff, koala bears, all that, kangaroos, all that kind of stuff and all. But he said now it's time for business, so he switches it up, brings it back to the pay-per-view and says we are on the road to WrestleMania, and now it's time to find out really who these contenders are going to be. It's business time now, you know. You've had your fun. So yeah, great to hear from Triple H and stuff like that, you know. Then we get out what happens next. Out comes Rollins, of course. The crowds erupts. They give him a great entrance, all that kind of stuff. Sing out the song, the usual stuff you get with Seth Rollins and stuff like that. Obviously, Cody isn't going to be there. Cody's en route to Australia, but the two of them are going to be part of the Grayson Waller show at the Elimination Chamber. And Grayson Waller has promised he's going to let us know what Paul Heyman said to him, and he wants us to acknowledge the tribal chief, which is interesting from that point of view. So we'll wait and see what comes out of that as well. So there will be very much interest in that segment, and very much interest in Cody and Seth and what they have to say, coming off the back of SmackDown tonight, of course, because we've got an early start tomorrow, 10 a.m. in Ireland for the pay-per-view, which is most unusual. So you'll be able to sit back, have your breakfast and enjoy the Elimination Chamber, you know. What else did we get then? We got a WrestleMania promo video, and I say it all the time, there's no one better out there in the moment than WWE are producing these vignettes and these promo videos and all the kind of thing, the narrative that comes out through it and all. It really gets you pumped up for these premium live events. So this should be very interesting. Then out comes, we get Kevin Owens comes out, and you know, he talks a little bit about things, and you know, he gives big props out to the staff in the background, the people who pulled the chamber together, the people who set up the stadium, the production crew, all that kind of stuff. Gives them big props, because he says without all that stuff happening, we're kind of meaningless, and I like that. So there has been a lot of props to the backstage people and all those people who are involved in really pulling the events together and stuff like that, to allow these superstars to go out and shine and be on that kind of platform and all. So that's really cool. Of course, he comes out, and out comes Randy Orton as well. Randy Orton looking well, a little bit tired, of course, he said himself, from the jet lag and stuff like that. And the two boys talked about how many chambers they'd been in and the toll it takes on your body, and Randy referred to the amount of metal in his back compared to the metal in the chamber and all that kind of thing. And then out comes Logan Paul, and Logan Paul shakes it up, turns it on its head, and kind of goes in hard on about how Perth is kind of a dump. It should have went to Sydney, that's where Taylor Swift goes, all that kind of stuff that you'd expect from Logan Paul. I have to say, Logan Paul, he's looking a little bit buff at the moment, isn't he? He's putting in the time in the gym as well. He's building himself up a little bit. You can see it in him. He's putting on a bit of size and stuff like that compared to when he first came in, which is really, really cool as well to see him progressing like that. Outside of that, then we get Bianca coming out. Then we get Becky coming out and Tiffany Stratton, and they have their kind of back and forth and stuff like that. Not sure on Becky. Let me know your thoughts on Becky as well. What do you think of this? She's kind of sometimes caught in between her Rock and Stone Cold mode, isn't she, and stuff like that and all. And but let us know your thoughts on that. And of course, don't forget, folks, this week Pro Wrestling Weekly, we're running a competition at the moment. So if you want to email in your predictions for that competition, we want your predictions for all the Elimination Chamber matches, and we're going to pick a number of winners, and we're going to send out baseball caps and t-shirts, all that kind of merchandise, whatever we have there. We'll check it out, but we've stuff to give away. So if you want to enter it, it's free to enter. All the postage is paid and everything and all. And just let us know your predictions for the chamber, all the chamber matches. Very simple. So make sure you get on that as well. And then we kind of round it out then with Rhea and Nia Jax. Nia coming out, you know, bigging up the fact that she was born in Australia, but thank God she got out of there. The usual heelish kind of easy to go to kind of stuff. And then Rhea comes out, of course, interrupts her. She ain't having any of that. Rhea looks $1,000,000, way over with the crowd, as you would expect. Kind of weird in a way with the Judgment Day and everything else and all. So that's going to be an interesting kind of conundrum, because what we've seen from the Judgment Day so far and everything else along is that, like, it's kind of more heelish, if you like. But obviously she's going to be kind of babyface at home in Australia and stuff like that, so Nia's going to take on the role of the heel. I suppose with this match, the only thing you'd be concerned about is there is a history of injury there in terms of Nia's matches, so you'd be hoping that Rhea comes out of that match. They put on a really good match, but unscathed, as she rolls on into WrestleMania. The question is, who's going to win the chamber match? Not too sure. I'm kind of thinking Bianca Belair. Obviously Becky's the obvious choice, but I'm thinking Bianca Belair. You know, she's been on this run at WrestleManias. They alluded to it in Bianca and Montez's show and all this kind of stuff and all. You know, she's also spoke about it as well a number of times at the press conference in Vegas on the road to Mania, and now at this one as well. And then it rounds out obviously with herself and Rhea and Grayson Waller doing a shoey on stage, where they pour the beers into their shoes and they drink them, stuff like that. So they do a shoey, and that kind of really rounds it out. So my thoughts on it is, as I said to you, just sometimes these events, they just feel like, you know, they feel like you're watching a Raw or a SmackDown just without the ring, that they're just coming out onto a stage, and it's kind of a little bit repetitive at times as well, because the go-to narrative sometimes is the same thing. So like, if you've heard it on Raw, you've heard it on SmackDown, you're hearing it on this stage. It's the same kind of stuff. What I would prefer is if Michael Cole and Corey Graves were down in the crowd with a cameraman following them, and that they were able to go up to fans and the fans were able to ask questions. So like, if Kevin Owens comes out, the fans can ask Kevin Owens questions. If Grayson Waller comes out, again, they can ask questions, and so forth and so forth. So it feels more like a press event. It feels more interactive than just the crowd doing what they typically do with a wrestling event. So it feels a little bit more personal, and I think that's that kind of where they have that's their sweet spot for WWE, because these events are supposed to be more personal. And I think it would be good if the press could ask a few questions, if there was a press booth there. And I think if the fans could ask a few questions, well, like the format that they have in the UFC, which I think works really, really, really well. And I think it's kind of going that way anyway. But just if they're going to just keep on coming out onto stages, I could see people kind of getting jaded by the press and all. I love the post-match or the post-show press conference, stuff like that, because it kind of gives you an insight into stuff and all, so it's interesting. But they're asking questions at that. But I think if they're going to do the pre-show press events, I think they need to get more interaction from the fans, and maybe get people out there, get them more kind of, so you can get more of an effect of like, that interesting stuff that you like, the stuff you don't know about that we pick up on the documentaries through the network and all that kind of stuff. I think it would work a lot better. There doesn't have to be a lot of them, maybe 3-4 questions maybe per superstar, but it's better than being on a stage against the guy you're up against, you know what I mean? And it's the same back and forth that we've already seen on TV, with the same kind of stupid stick and the same kind of stupid lines, and you know what I mean, the entrances and everything else and all, so let me know your thoughts on that. Just a quick rundown on the press event. Does it hit the spot for you? Does it add to the premium live event? Does it take away from the premium live event? Does it give you an indication of what might happen at the premium live event? Let me know your thoughts. As always, subscribe to the channel. It is the upper tier. Hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video, all that good stuff. It is Friday evening. It's a beautiful evening as well, so get out there and enjoy it. It is the start of the weekend. What a sporting weekend we have coming up as well. WWE, the football, the Carabao Cup final, the UFC, packed out with sports this weekend. The rugby, everything is there for you, everything is catered for. Enjoy it, and don't forget, we just stocked up today in the shop. Lots of new CM Punk stuff after coming in. Cody Rhodes, Judgment Day, Roman Reigns, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, all this stuff has come in today. So if you're looking for something over the weekend, a nice shirt, a nice hoodie, a beanie or a cap, we're the go-to. Wrestling Mania, top floor, Stevens Green Shopping Centre. Until next time, folks, cheers.